I need someone to show me my place in all this.
Hello everyone, this is Chris Setchwell here and welcome to my movie review of Star Wars The Last Jedi, the latest adventure in the Star Wars saga. I'm fresh off of seeing the movie. Well, not totally fresh. I saw it about 2 hours ago I got out. Had I just gotten out, I'd be a whole lot more hyper than I am right now. But it just, so pretty much got out from seeing it. You can see my cool ass Last Jedi shirt of the teaser poster that I got. Love this shirt. And yeah, this is going to be a really interesting movie to talk about because obviously Star Wars is the premier franchise out there. I'm a huge fan. The reaction to this movie has been very interesting to say the least. I'll get into that a little later on. But speaking for myself, this latest adventure in the Star Wars saga, Episode 8, the sequel to The Force Awakens, I can say for myself that I really enjoyed this movie. I thought this movie succeeded in a whole lot of areas and was a very different feeling Star Wars movie with a lot of elements that worked, some that didn't, but overall I can say that I did really enjoy the movie. And as I said, this is a very different feeling Star Wars movie. The complaint that a lot of people had with The Force Awakens, that The Force Awakens was a carbon copy. This movie, not a carbon copy. This movie is very different feeling from the other Star Wars movies in terms of sort of the story structure, the way things develop, the way it treats its characters, different, but I think it succeeds in being just being a good movie overall and being a good continuing adventure in the Star Wars saga. And the main thing I really appreciated about this movie was what it did with its characters. What it to me it does what a good sequel should do is that you got to expand on the characters in terms of their conflict, sort of what they're all about, and let's see them more drama unfold. And this movie does that great with the characters that we saw in The Force Awakens. Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron, all of them get expanded stories. We get to see more drama. We get to see more character development from what's going on with them. They're in this movie. It's very different from how they're treated in The Force Awakens, and we all really like those characters in The Force Awakens. And it was good to see those characters' story continue and see them grow in new ways. And that's the new blood of the series. In terms of the old blood, Luke and Leia. Obviously, we don't have Han Solo anymore, but Luke and Leia in this movie, I really enjoyed what they did with them. Leia, it was great to see her. I loved all her scenes. Sad that the character will not be with us in Episode 9. R.I.P. Carrie Fisher, but she was great in this movie. And as for Luke Skywalker, he was just great in this movie. Obviously, we were really teased with him in The Force Awakens. In this movie, I thought they really deliver on Luke Skywalker. I think he has a really well written arc, good story. The way he's portrayed, I thought he's really good dynamics to his character. A very different Luke, and yet we see a lot of the old Luke in this movie as well. And that was just great to see. I thought Luke Skywalker, I really thought they delivered on Luke Skywalker in this movie. And speaking into all the characters, like I said, the new blood and the old blood, the heart of this movie is the drama, specifically the drama between Rey, Kylo Ren, and you can throw Luke Skywalker into the mix at all. That's really the heart of this movie, and I thought that storyline was really well done. I thought it's really well told. There's some good dynamics to that story, and again, I love seeing good character drama, and this movie does that really well, especially the stuff with Rey and Kylo Ren. I ain't gonna dare get into any spoilers with that, but I'll just say I read that part in the movie. Some of the stuff gave me chills, and I love that stuff. So, and the movie delivers on the other stuff you want to see from a fun experience. The movie was actually a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. I thought this movie was going to be really sort of the dark vibes going on throughout that Empire Strikes Back feel, if you will. And I think this movie is really well directed and different from The Force Awakens, but it does keep The Force Awakens sort of humorous touch in there, which for the most part I thought worked pretty well. There was some stuff that didn't work, but overall I thought the humor in this movie made for a good time, and it didn't bother me at all. There's some really good stuff, some unexpected stuff, but overall the humor makes for an entertaining part in this movie. So this movie delivers on a whole lot of things, and I mentioned before this is a very different feeling Star Wars movie, and that helps it in a way that hurts it as well. There's some stuff that just feels a little bit odd in this movie. different from the other Star Wars movies, but not in a good way in terms of the way it's told. Um, one a section of this movie that I was not a fan of at all, and this is my main complaint, was that I was not a fan of the casino part of this movie. I'm not going to spoil where it takes place, what exactly is the context. You'll obviously know what you see it. I thought that part of the movie just did not work. It just felt so odd. And while I was watching it, this whole section of the movie, the entire period it lasts, I'm all like, this is just really, really weird. And it's just, I'm not going to spoil again the characters that are involved in this scene, but overall, it just was sort of odd, and it really sort of took me out of the movie. I'm like, where is this going? And another complaint that I'll bring up is that this movie, it's long, and length is not an automatic bad thing for a movie, because this is a good movie throughout. Even though I mentioned there's the part of the movie I do not like, this is a movie I was just having so much fun throughout with all the great Star Wars goodness throughout. But you do feel the length in this movie. There's actually a part where it feels like the movie's about to end, and they tack on a whole nother sort of climax to it, and it's like, oh, okay. Not saying that's bad, but it definitely was I definitely did feel the length. I'll say that. And I'm never going to complain about that, especially with the franchise I love, because the more of that franchise you can give me, the better. Especially when you're giving me a whole bunch of characters I really love, like Rey, BB-8, Finn, seeing Luke Skywalker again. That's all great stuff. But you do feel the length in this movie. Not a bad thing, but you do feel it. But overall, all of the elements come together to make for a really fun experience and a good movie overall. I thought this movie succeeded on a whole bunch of levels and succeeded way more than it did than where it failed in some people's eyes. I personally really enjoyed this movie. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely a worthwhile experience. It was a great experience watching this movie. Saw it in my favorite theater, in my favorite auditorium. Loved it. Great Star Wars atmosphere. But you take that stuff aside, for me, what this viewing, I really enjoyed this movie. And took a lot of risks that some people may not appreciate, but I appreciate a lot of the stuff that this movie did do. And yeah, I liked the movie. So I mentioned those risks. And the audience reaction to this movie, it's just, I did not see this coming. Because this movie is getting really good reviews from critics overall, 90+% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I didn't see this going in. I did not check the audience score. The audience score for this movie is really polarizing Star Wars fans. Some people saying that it really sort of dishonors the franchise. I'm not going to spoil anything that happens in the movie, but just to give you a general opinion, a lot of Star Wars fans aren't really down of what this movie is doing. And I'll just say that you can complain about this movie taking risks. Isn't that what the whole complaint with The Force Awakens was that it was too safe? And you're going to complain about this movie taking risks? Believe me, this is not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. This is a movie that does justice when it comes to writing its characters, telling a story, giving us great drama, which I love throughout this movie. This movie, it's just, it is not worthy of receiving that reaction, that audience reaction that it's getting right now. People sort of being like, "What the hell was that?" Because this movie does not deserve that. Now, again, this I've only seen the movie once, and obviously, when you've seen that movie for the first time, you're really excited about it. But I can withdraw myself from all that and look back at it and tell you that this is a movie that's well written, that writes its characters and gives us great drama, expands on the characters that we saw in The Force Awakens, giving us more conflict, more dynamics and whatnot. And I think gives us a really good Star Wars experience. It's different, but it's still Star Wars. It's still telling us a good story in this saga. And I'll call the movie for being a piece of shit if it is. Just me. There are franchises I love that I'll first to call them out and say this is not working. And as I said, there's the casino part in this movie that just does not work. And I know I'm rambling a little bit, but this is a very important thing that I have to get off my chest just because this is definitely a good movie. Some people, you may not appreciate the risks it takes, but just because you take risks, that doesn't mean that your foundation is not good. And the foundation of this movie is very good. And I'll say that it really gets me excited for what will be the finale for this trilogy. Obviously, not spoiling how this movie ends, but it does leave us in a place to where it's like, okay, let's see let's see where it's going to go now, because you got one more in this trilogy, and I'm really excited where things are going to leave us, because I love all of these characters and excited to see where they go next. So anyways, as that's my review for Star Wars The Last Jedi, and also my sort of rant on the audience reaction. As I said, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed the film. Leave your comments and tell me what you thought of the movie, and I will see y'all around with another video.